And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. As we begin, it's 72 right now as we climb for a high of 92 a little bit later on this morning. Heat index is going to be pretty atrocious, not as bad as it could be, but 99 is what we're looking for on that today. So warm weather in store for us. Now, as we begin this, there is a chance of severe weather that's going to be out to our west on the west side of the state. Let's go ahead and look at this before we begin anything else to let you know where the severe weather will happen as we pull up Meridian Honda radar here. Let's go to severe weather today and pull this up and show you. And this is what we're looking. This is going to be the extreme western side starting at Jackson, down toward Macomb and these areas around Brookhaven and back up here through Yazoo and then back on into Louisiana. So not a threat for the Meridian side. Anything east and south of Macomb and north of Jackson should be fairly good today. It's this area between Greenville and Natchez that will have an issue today as we look at this. And as you back out even further worse, it's going to be near Colorado, Denver, these areas, and areas of Kansas. Dodge City today will have an extreme level 3. There could be some tornadic activity out there. So if you've got friends and neighbors in that neighborhood, make sure to check on them, make sure that they're okay. How you feel today? As we said, Thursday. We've got Odie coming in a few moments as we get ready. Lots of headlines that we'll be telling you about beginning this morning at 7. We'll break it down and let you know exactly what's going on in our community. We've got that up and coming. I hope you'll join us. Let's put a smile on and get at it. Let's go out to the church. We need a good word, don't we? Let's see what they have to tell us from the First Baptist.
I don't know if you've looked around at our culture lately, but if you do, you'll see an outworking of Romans 1:28 through 32 all over the place. You see unrighteousness everywhere, people doing the exact opposite of what the Bible says, so much so that they don't even know the depth of their sinfulness. You see evil everywhere. Murder rates are up, crime is rampant, there is no respect for authority of any kind. You witness rampant covetousness in our culture of everyone wanting what they don't have. I mean, lottery sales are at an all-time high as people risk everything and lose because they believe there's happiness and security in their possessions. And people full of malice toward whatever group they believe is against them. You see groups like Black Lives Matter hating the police, LGBTQ activists hating Christians, Democrats hating Republicans, and the list goes on and on. People everywhere are filled with envy, murder, strife, deceit, and maliciousness, and people everywhere hate God. They are boastful in themselves. Kids are disobedient to their parents. People are foolish, faithless, ruthless. People are even inventors of new kinds of evil. And in light of all of this darkness, what is the reason for so much evil in the world around us? Well, Paul tells us in Romans 1 what that reason is. It's because people refused to acknowledge God. So God gave them up to a debased mind to do what ought not to be done. The problem is that God essentially surrendered people over to their sin because they desired it more than they desired God. And as people have fallen further into their sin, they not only practice unrighteousness themselves, but they give approval to others who do it as well, celebrating the debaucherous living that they all participate in. The only way to combat this evil is to get Jesus into your heart. If you acknowledge God and believe on Jesus Christ for salvation, God will renew your mind and will never give you over to your sin. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Pretty strong, wasn't it? Yes, indeed it was. Good morning. I'm just getting word that there may be a fire this morning on Highway 494 in a camper. As I pull this up, let's look at the map of where this is located. This is on Highway 494, not quite to the Chunky Duffy Road, but this is going to be coming off of Highway 19 where the Collinsville Riding Club is, where Pleasant Ridge runs into Highway 494. Right in that area there, a possible camper fire this morning. Volunteer firemen are responding to the scene now. As we find out more about this, we'll let you know. Hopefully, it's not bad and it won't turn out like it did yesterday morning with the fire that we had. We'll get you news on that as soon as we do, but that's breaking news as we watch this morning as daylight comes about. Now, we've got a lot of your local things that will be coming up at 7 as we glance around at some of the things that are shaping America this morning. I'm not sure I know everything about this, but do you remember us bringing up the woman that said that they had found her son that had been missing for nearly 8 years? He'd been kidnapped or ran away or whatever the case was. He was found on the side of the road and was in a hospital. Well, it turns out it's not quite everything that it's supposed to be. And again, I hadn't let all this sink in, but he has told police, and he had I do believe the young man is Hispanic, I believe. He has a Black Panther now as a spokesperson for him, and is saying that his mother held him as a sex slave for all of these years, hidden, locked up. It's bizarre. We'll get more into this, and relatives are saying they didn't quite believe the story of him missing all this time. Could something like this happen? We'll dig deeper into this today, as this story is just kind of breaking late yesterday, and we'll dig into it and let you know what we found out about it. Kevin Costner's wife, she's got to be out. The judge has said so. By the end of the month, she's got to be out of the expensive house and taking her little bit of alimony, which means it sounds like the judge is going to uphold the prenup that he had, where she gets nothing after they were married, before the money. That's what it sounds like. We'll see. A Princeton student who had traveled abroad, who went missing, they assumed had, passed away, is not the case, as we found out this morning. They were alive, being held captive in Baghdad. It's another one of those most likely ransom situations, to where someone from the States goes over and they're kidnapped and they want money to return them. We'll watch that case also there. Amarillo. We've talked about this before, as people leave one part of the country because they get fed up with, the way things are going in politics. Things get so expensive, they can't stand it. And it all boils back down to politics, how laws are passed and things get higher and higher and higher, and they give away your tax dollars. California, 110,000 people have left and moved into the area around Amarillo. Is it going to stay the same? Are they bringing those ideas from California to Texas? Now, of course, the large cities in Texas, as you already know, are a little bit liberal, not the rural route, but these large cities don't vote the same way the rest of Texas does. We'll see what this becomes of this. But they are moving from California by the thousands into Amarillo area and all of these large cities. How long will that state remain Republican? It could fall, especially if these ideas are brought from there. And we've said it before, if you're leaving something because it's bad, you can't bring those same values with you somewhere else and expect it to work there. Just my 2 cents thoughts there. We have horrible news this morning as we look to Port New York. 2 firefighters were trapped. This is in New Jersey there. A boat caught fire there at the dock. They were trying to put it out, and 2 firefighters lost their lives. We send condolences to their family members. Many miles between us and them, it doesn't matter. We've lost 2 Americans that were trying to help others. We sure hate that. Fort Lauderdale, we do see that there was a shooting. 5 people taken to the hospital as a gunman opened fire. No one is deceased, but we do have 1 person in Fort Lauderdale this morning that is in critical condition. We'll watch that story also as it develops across this. I've said this before, as we look at what's going on at the White House now. As we all know, a white powdery substance was found. Okay, at first they thought it could have been anthrax, but no, it wasn't. Turns out it was just, purely cocaine. As we all know, one cannot just walk into the White House. They know exactly who comes in. It's documented, everyone who comes through the door. Of course, the president's not talking about it. The Secret Service says this morning they're going to fingerprint the bag. Anybody really believe that true identity of those fingerprints will ever be told? Truthfully, do we really believe that? They went and had coffee with Hillary when they interviewed her, if y'all remember. Those are a few of the headlines this morning that is shaping our nation as the sun is rising. We'll be right back and get into your weather forecast next as we begin this all together.
Same old sound, and no one's answering. Vote for change. Vote Ben Shirley, District 81 Representative, on August 8th. Ben will answer the phone. Ben will get answers in Jackson for District 81. Ben will create jobs and promote economic development for East Mississippi.
I'm Ben Shirley, and I'm asking for your vote in the August 8th Republican primary.
Vote Ben, District 81, August 8th. Paid for by Ben Shirley.
Hello, my name's Kenneth Graham, and I'm running for coroner of Lauderdale County. For over 50 years, Lauderdale County has been represented by professional and competent coroners. I would like to continue that tradition. Over the next several months, I want to educate the public on what the coroner does and dispel any myths about the coroner job. I can show you that I will be the most professional coroner there is. So please vote for me August the 8th.
Paid for by the Committee for the Election of Kenneth Graham. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group. And welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. It is Thursday morning, 72. Isn't it nice right now? Hold on. It's going to get near 99, 92 before it's all said and done. I had people asking about the fire. We don't know any more yet. Highway 494, a camper is on fire. As we showed you on the map a moment ago, volunteer firefighters are on the scene. I'm getting notions. Still looking. We have someone that is missing. So let's keep some prayers going here as we do find out that someone possibly could have been in this home. If this were to come out, this would be 2 people that we've lost in 2 days to fires, and we certainly don't want to have to say that anymore. But we're investigating that. As soon as we get more information on that, we'll have that in just a moment. As we get ready for your forecast now, let's get into this and break it down as to what the National Weather Service has to tell us today.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we go to 1977, it was 101 on this day. Woo! Hot it was. As we go to that year, which is incorrect, and I didn't finish it. I think it was 60 degrees, and I don't remember the year, so my mistake. I apologize. But the record low on this date was 60. I do know that. It was 4 hours ago. I was trying, really. My eyes were crossed. As we look at today, 92-ish is what we'll get here. Rain further heavy out to the west of us toward the Vicksburg area is what we're going to be looking at in this area. We do have a 60% chance of showers in our area. Areas of sunshine, it should fall after 2 o'clock sometime today is what we're looking at. As we go to Bamaland, 91 Demopolis, 93 in Tuscaloosa, even to Birmingham, still warm, 92 in that area. As we come down and take a look, this is the severe weather as we looked at the map a few moments ago. This west side from Jackson over, and it will go from Greenville down to Natchez and then back into Louisiana, and then the worst of the worst will be in Kansas and on into Colorado today with that level 3 weather. So 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. is what we're looking afternoon, after lunch is what we'll have on the west side of the state if you're over near Vicksburg. As we look at this, still warm weather, all about this. And moving into the west side of Texas, look at that. It's heavy. It's made it to central and south Texas, which means it will make its way eventually to us within the next 2 weeks. Warm weather, we just can't seem to shake it, can we? As the forecast goes, 60% chance of rain today. How does tomorrow look? Oh, it's about the same. A 70% chance tomorrow. Even on Saturday, we've got a 50%. And Sunday, most likely, we'll get wet again. 80% chance there. As we look at this, as far as the eye can see, Tuesday, 60, 50, what is going on? We're going to have a wet one before this is all said and done, but areas of sunshine each day also. Now, as we look all the way through July the 20th, we start seeing the temperatures rise up to 94. We'll see that. Partly cloudy skies, but slight chances of rain toward mid-month there. Let's hope it stays that way. As we look at what's going for the tropics, absolutely nothing happening in the Gulf of Mexico. That is the good news. Can't beat that, can we? As we look at our fishing forecast for today, Chet tells us a major time will be this afternoon, 4 o'clock. Be there. Say 3:30. Grab your sandwich and be ready, and fish from 4 to 6 is the perfect time to be there. The wind's going to be west-northwest 5 to 10 is what we're looking at today. So a quick look at the weather today. Now, again, we're going to be starting live in about 14 minutes. We'll be live on TV then, and we'll be back live in 10 minutes when the button goes on. We have to give the TV station 5 minutes to join us to get all their buttons ready, and we'll do that coming up at 7 o'clock. We've got robbery, we've got a shooting, we've got more. 2 robberies, as a matter of fact, that's happened in the last 24 hours. We've got all the details and what's going on in our community. your community. Always let us know what you see and hear. We'll pass all of this along to you, kicking off with Scotty Ray and Odie beginning at 7 this morning. Won't you join us?
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.